Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If things look a little bit different, it's because I'm actually in an apartment today. I am not outside like usual. I'm staying with some friends in Denver for a few days while I kind of get situated and get ready to get back on the road. Today I'm going to be doing just a really good deep dive into Mount Rainier and the different areas of the park that I visited, my favorite spots, my least favorite spots, all that good stuff. So thanks for joining me, and don't forget to like and subscribe. The first area of Mount Rainier National Park that I visited was the Paradise area, and I should have known this was a red flag when I read online that it's the most popular and most visited area of the park. But the way that I was driving in, it just kind of made sense to go through there anyway, so I thought I would give it a chance to check it out. And it was my least favorite part of the trip for sure. I will just say the most positive aspect about the Paradise area is that it is super accessible. There are a ton of nice paved trails, so it's really good for people that might have mobility issues. But it ended up just being so crowded, and there were a lot of really disrespectful tourists around that just really made it hard for me to enjoy. I did actually yell at a couple of young girls who were significantly off the path, somehow missed the tons of signs asking people to stay on the trail because it's a very fragile meadow environment. So that was pretty frustrating and just kind of put a bad taste in my mouth for the day. All that being said, I did still really enjoy the scenery, although I decided to cut my hike short to move on to a different area. I drove a little ways down the road to Reflection Lake, where there were only a couple other cars in the parking lot. I grabbed my camera and headed down the path. There were a lot of fish jumping out of the water to catch insects, so I decided to try photographing them for a little bit. Spending a few minutes observing the fish and getting my camera settings dialed in really calmed me down. After this short visit to the lake, I was in a much better mood. Later on, I made camp at a dispersed site right outside of the Stevens Canyon entrance. It was nice to be so close that I could get an early start on the popular Grove of the Patriarchs trail. This was a really gentle, forested trail featuring a suspension bridge over beautiful blue water, and of course the 1,000-year-old trees that the trail is named after. I've stopped trying to photograph huge old-growth forests like this because it's just impossible to capture their tremendous size. So you'll just have to trust me on this one and go check them out yourself if you ever get the chance. After this short hike and some breakfast, I got on the road to the White River entrance to check out the Emmons Moraine Trail. I really love this hike because it started in a dense forest with several small waterfalls that you cross over, and then suddenly you get these up-close views of Mount Rainier, and you can really see how the glaciers carve through the valley around you. The view is incredible, and the hike isn't too difficult. I made lunch at the trailhead, then took my time heading over to Tipsoo Lake. I snapped a few pictures of the wildflowers around the lake before heading up the trail to find a spot to set up for sunset. There was hardly anyone around when I got there. I passed 2 or 3 people on the way up the trail and then didn't see anyone again until I hiked back to the parking lot. The solitude, along with the sunset, was just what I needed that night. The mosquitoes were pretty rough, but having on pants and long sleeves helped keep them at bay, even when the bug spray seemed to not do anything. That night, I slept at the nearby Chinook Pass parking lot. In the morning, I headed to the sunrise area of the park to hike Burroughs Mountain, which was suggested by a friend of mine. This hike was probably my favorite out of this whole trip. I had planned to go to all 3 burrows, but my ankle injury was bothering me and I didn't want to make it any worse, so I decided to just stop at the first one. Even still, the views were breathtaking. There were so many marmots running around, and of course, the wildflowers were incredible. This trail is a little bit more challenging with some steep, rocky areas, but overall it's not too difficult, and I saw people of all ages finishing it. Hi. Oh my god. day before, when I was driving to the Emmons Moraine Trailhead, I noticed a nice pull-off spot right next to the White River. When I finished Burroughs Mountain, I decided to head back there to have some lunch. Even though this little pull-off was right next to the road, it was a really beautiful spot to pause and recharge. I decided to stop by Tipsoo Lake again since I had to drive right by it. I met some really nice folks in the parking lot who were also photographing wildflowers in the golden hour. I found a campsite on some national forest land nearby with a nice distant view of Rainier. I didn't see anyone around up there, and the sunset was beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you want to see some of the pictures I took, plus links to all of the trails I talked about, I'll be posting a blog on my website today all about this trip. You can find it at ldantzler.com, and I'll link it below. Thanks, and see you next time.